I mean, what you've just said has brought to my mind the problem of the one which has been already mentioned, the CCS readiness for the new plants and the old plants, the retrofit problem. I understand that what you're trying to argue for is that we need to move on to the commercial scale operation, and we need to pursue with our agenda for CCS just because of the potential threat of getting locked into the situation that we actually 10, 20 years down the road that it's going to be too late for. Is that what you're trying to say? That
yeah, I think that was raised earlier today, and I think that's a very important issue. The capture readiness. What does it actually mean? And to be clear that it has some cost effect and requirements should be implemented for new plants. And one of the major is of course to have space available for a capture plant adjacent to the power plant you are building. Right. That's number one. But another important issue could also be that you should look into where could we store the CO2. Because if you have a storage area nearby, it's easier to build a power plant where you can easily transport and store the CO2 without too much transport cost. But we believe that when we start to get more and more demonstration plant and full-scale transportation system also, we build up infrastructure. So then in the future it will be easier to connect to such an infrastructure, and also by that reducing the cost of transport and storage, because you will share that system. Today it's single, it's capture and transport from maybe a single power plant, but in the future I think it's important that we share that infrastructure and thereby reducing the cost both in transport and storage, but also the monitoring of the system.
Right. So one more question from the doubting public. I mean, we've been trying to mobilize the governments. We've been trying to mobilize all agencies. We've been trying to mobilize general public to debate and to talk about CCS. We've been trying to actually raise financing which would help the commercial sector to invest into these technologies. And what happens? And this is all on the base of our trust in what you, researchers and technologists, say. What happens if you fail? What happens if CCS proves not to be working?
Well, we know it's working in small scale, and we also know it will work in large scale. The question is what kind of cost can we achieve in the future on CCS? And I think that is the main issue for the technology developers and the industry like us, is to really demonstrate that it's possible to reduce the cost. And it's feasible, we know that, and also the experience from Sleipner and other storage projects show that it's safe, and there's a huge potential for geological storage of CO2 in the world. So the system, the technology will work. I'm not, there's any doubt there. And I don't think we have any much chances. As I see, it's only nuclear, and I'm not in favor of building up a huge nuclear industry with all the question marks on the waste handling. So, and with respect to fossil fuel, that is the future. The future is coal, and we have to find a solution that is acceptable, and that is CCS from my point of view.
Right. Thank you very much for these extended answers to my questions. I would like now to hand it over to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the rare opportunity of asking questions. I hope that there are experts which would be more detailed and more provocative in the audience. So anybody would like to start with the questions and comments? Not really. I told you that was a very complicated thing. Right?
But maybe before I conclude, I was not allowed to bring PowerPoint for this session, but instead I bought some bottles.
All right. So we can see them and try later on.
And to make it more understandable for the audience, what is an amine system? This is amine we're using to capture CO2. 1 liter of amine can store 60 liters of CO2. It's very efficient. And it's easy to capture CO2, and you need steam energy to heat it up, and then CO2 will be released. But I mentioned the difference between capturing CO2 from gas power and coal, and this is actually a bottle from Longanet. And you see here the fly ash, which we have captured in the cooler up front of the amine process. And this is very important to understand the chemistry, because if you have this fly ash together with sulfur dioxide, you get corrosion in the plant. So this is very important then to do a lot of piloting to learn, so you can avoid unexpected operational problems in the large-scale plants. So we need both. We need to get going on the big demonstration plant, but we also have to continue the development of improved technologies.
Right. Let me go back for a second to this issue of energy penalty and energy efficiency. I mean, there are two sides to the equation. One is actually the actual power plants and their overall efficiency before you actually add the CCS facility. Can you comment on it? I mean, what needs to be done? I mean, how they need to be prepared for the future?
I think for new plants, it's very important to look at the integration between the say, supercritical coal-fired plant and how you integrate this power plant with the capture plant. And it basically it boils down to how you connect the steam system together. So I think it's very important that, say, the developer of the technology for the power plant as such work very closely with the technology supplier of capture plant, so you find an optimum integration of those two plants. And the purpose is to utilize the steam from the power plant in the most efficient way in the capture plant. So you are not reducing the energy output from the total system too much.
Right. To your experience and to your knowledge as it is today, I mean, I would like to refer for a second to this McKinsey report from 2008 when they were talking about the energy penalty, and they were trying to extrapolate some understandings at that time into the future. They were saying that the overall energy penalty by 2020 would be about 10%, and it's going to fall by 2030 to 9%. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's feasible? Are we going to get so efficient that these figures will be even lower, or what are the chances, to your knowledge now?
It's difficult to speculate in such figures, but I'm convinced that you will see a drastically drop in the energy requirement in capture plant when we start to apply this technology. And it's a lot of references from the rest of the industry that you will make more and more efficient processes. And you can see from the car industry how much gasoline you use per mile, and you will see the same effect also for this technology.